What's up, peers, and welcome to Bitcoin to the Max here on the World Crypto Network. Today we continue our discussion of the phenomenal book, What Has Government Done to Our Money by Murray Rothbard, available on Mises.org. And today we have a mind-blowing realization because we talk about private coinage. And let's not get confused with the creation of money here, with creating another shitcoin. But we are shaping the user interface, the coin of the base monetary asset, which is Bitcoin. So we're not talking about shitcoins. We're talking about the user interface of Bitcoin. So keep that in mind and let's get going. This is a beautiful chapter. The idea of private coinage seems so strange today that it is worth examining carefully. We are used to thinking of coinage as a necessity of sovereignty. Yet after all, we are not wedded to the royal prerogative. And it's the American or Bitcoin concept that sovereignty rests not in the government, but in the peers. How would private coinage work? Well, in the same way as we would say as any other business. Each developer would produce whatever user interface is most pleasing to the user. The price would be set by the free competition of the market. The standard objection is that it would be too much trouble to assess every bit at every transaction. But what if there were what is there to prevent private developers from producing and developing an interface that would guarantee the correctness and fitness of a block? Private engineers can guarantee that a transaction is valid, at least as well as any government mint. Upgraded bits of coins would not be accepted. Wrong transactions would not be accepted. Peers would use these user interfaces of those developers with the best reputation for good quality of the software. We have seen that this is precisely how the Bitcoin Core became prominent, as it is as a competition to any other shitcoin. Opponents of private developers charge that the fraud would run rampant. Yet these same opponents would trust government to provide the user interface. But if government is to be trusted at all, oh no, it's not, then surely with private user interfaces, governments could at least be trusted to prevent or punish the fraud. It is usually assumed that the prevention or punishment of fraud, theft, or other crimes is the real justification for government. But if government cannot apprehend the criminal when private developments are relied upon, what hope is there for a reliable user interface when the integrity of the private developers, operators, is discarded in favor for a government monopoly on creating the user interface? If government cannot be trusted to ferret out the occasional villain in the free market of user interfaces, why can government be trusted when it finds itself in a position of the total control over Bitcoin and may debase the Bitcoin or counterfeit or double spend a UTXO or otherwise will full legal sanction perform as the sole villain in the marketplace? It is surely folly to say that government must socialize all property in order to prevent anyone from stealing property. Yet the reasoning behind abolitioning private developers and user interfaces is the same. Moreover, all modern businesses is built on guarantees of standards. The drugstore sells an 8-ounce bottle of medicine. The meat packager sells a pound of beef. The buyer expects these guarantees to be accurate, and they are. And think of the thousands upon thousands of specialized, vital industry producers that must meet very narrow standards and specification. The buyer of a half-inch bolt must get, well, a half-inch bolt, and not a mere 3/8 of an inch. Yet, business has not broken down. Few peers suggest that government must nationalize the machine tool industry as part of its job of defending standards against fraud. The modern market economy contains an infinite number of intricate exchanges, most depending on definite standards of quantity and quality. But fraud is at a minimum, and that minimum, at least in theory, may be prosecuted. So it would be if there were private developers of user interfaces. We can be sure that a developer's customers and his competitors would be keenly alert to any possible fraud in the verification of the correctness of a transaction. Champions of the government's user interface monopoly have claimed that Bitcoin is different from all other commodities because Gresham's law proves that bad money drives out good from circulation. Hence, the free market cannot be trusted to serve the public in supplying good Bitcoin. Well, but this formulation rests on the misinterpretation of Gresham's famous law. The law really says that money overvalued artificially by government will drive out of circulation artificially undervalued money. Suppose, for example, that there is a 1-ounce gold coin in circulation. And after a few years of wear and tear, that let us say that some coins weigh only 0.9 ounces. Obviously, on the free market, the worn coin would circulate at only 90% of the value of the full-bodied coins. And the nominal face value of the former would have to be repudiated. If anything, it will be the bad coins that will be driven from the market. But suppose that the government decrees that everyone must treat the worn coins as equal to the new, fresh coins, and must accept them equally in payment of debts, which is legal tender. What has the government really done? It has imposed price controls by coercion on the exchange rate between the two types of coins. By insisting on the par ratio, the worn coins should exchange at 10% discount is artificially overvalues the worn coins and undervalues the new coins. Consequently, everyone will circulate the worn coins and hoard it or export it the new. Bad money drives out good money. Then, not on the free market, but as a direct result of government intervention in the market. Despite never-ending harassment by governments, making conditions highly precarious, private developers have flourished many times in history. True to the virtual law that all innovations come from free individuals and not the state, the first user interface was provided by private individuals of developers. In fact, when the government first began to monopolize the user interface, the royal developers bore the guarantees of private developers, whom the public trusted far more apparently, than they did the government. Private minted user interfaces circulated in California as late as 1848. Piers, do you understand what Rothbard is saying here? And do you get the aspect that a gold coin is a user interface to the gold monetary base atoms? A gold coin has stamped on top the weight of this currency, of this money, so that it can easily be traded and verified. And without having such a user interface, you would have to weigh every time how many units of currency is in this piece of metal. How does this apply to Bitcoin? And this is mind-blowing, Piers. Developers of the wallet software provide the user interface to verify and validate the value of the UTXO, the amount of Satoshis in the UTXO. And they can do this in a good way, providing a nice user interface, like, for example, the Samurai wallet or the Green Address wallet. Or they can provide this in a horrible user interface, like the 1001 shitcoin wallets that we have. Developers of wallets are the minters of gold coins. And the better the user interface, and the better the tools that can be used by the individual user. For example, Chaumian coin joins in the Wasabi wallet, or Ricochet transactions in the Samurai wallet. The more this developer of the user interface will be valued and trusted in the market. And we do not trust any random developer who has just came onto the screen and produced another shitcoin wallet, which might leak your private keys. No, we trust the most reputable developers who have proven their reliance and their skill in providing a software interface to our money. Piers, developers of wallets are the minters, the private minters of gold coins. Mind blown. Seriously. That is insane. Rothbard is a genius. And if you apply his teachings to Bitcoin, that's a mindfuck. Sorry. It really, really is. This blew me away. It really did. And I hope it did you too, my peers. And thank you for watching. And thank you for supporting me here and get early access to these videos and all the following mind blows to come. Peers, thank you very much for your support on teleco.in/HillebrandMax. And thank you very much and see you on the next show. And developers of wallet software are private coin minters. What? Rothbard is too good to be true. See you on the next show, peers. Bye-bye.